taught me a lot about, well, she directly taught me a lot about value, okay? And how you place value on things that are most important, which is your family, your community, the things that will help you in the long run, because a lot of us are quick to advance to what they call immediate gratification. We want immediate gratification.
We have no patience.
If no patience, if we can't, no discipline, no foresight, if we can't get it right now, I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? And she understood that. But for me to see my mom travel the world, living on 20th Street in Newark, it just blew my mind. Where your mom at, man? I can't come. My mom's not here. So I was like, more so, my uncle and my aunt, they came in and filled in when my mom wasn't there. But my mom's in Africa this year, or my mom's in Jamaica this year, or she's on her way to China this year. It was just to see that, right? So the sacrifice we made as a family. You know, we didn't get all of the nicer things that some of the other kids got. And I appreciate that. I really, really appreciated that. And the lesson she taught us about value, about assets, about money, it really stayed and held with me throughout my life. Give you a perfect example. When that money came, after she passed, I had enough money to buy 3 Mercedes-Benz brand new, spank brand new with 0 miles on them. But I didn't do that. I took a portion of that money and I put it away for my brother. I took a portion of that money and put it away for my sister. I gave my grandmother $20,000 to pay off her house. And the rest of it, we lived on. And I took the vision that my mother had for her business and put it in, all that energy, the pain, into the electronics. At 19 years old, I got married. 20, I bought my first house. And 21, I was in my own business. And I've been there since then. But the journey of life is phenomenal, bro. It's phenomenal. I lost a lot of family members during that time. And it was a time when I really doubted the mercy of our Creator. I doubted that He loved me because He took so many people away from me at a time when I needed them. But here's the blessing. I asked God to give me a family, a big family, that in the event that I pass prior to what I believed old age is, 70, 80, 90 years old, that they would have each other to depend on and fall back on in case something happened to me. So throughout this journey, here it is now. I'm on my second wife. I have 8 children, and all of the blessings that I prayed for then, every single one that I pray for, I have acquired all of those blessings, all of them. God has now given me 3 of my older children are now expecting their own children within 2 months of each other. My oldest daughter is pregnant, married, expecting her child. My middle daughter is married, pregnant, expecting her child, and my son. And all of them have careers. One of them is the youngest doctor in the family at 24. She has a doctorate in pharmacy. My other daughter is a corporate accountant, and my oldest daughter is a physician's technician. She works in the operating room. So to now understand where I came from, to be able to ball up all of that hurt and that pain, and now give it to my children and my community, and be an example for what you can be if you just stay focused.
That beautiful. I mean, I'm inspired here, and I listen to inspirational stuff every single day, and this was really I was captivated by it. And I'm curious because I know that many of the listeners right now are probably going through some of the stuff that you went through. You know, they lost a loved one, they get depressed, they start struggling, they don't have the vision, and they lose the focus, and then they look for immediate gratification. And you know, and like you said before, if you don't, you can't value something you haven't worked for. You haven't had your blood, sweat, and tears. When it's handed to you, you don't value it, and that's why I can see it right now how much you cherish what you have. So, what kind of advice would you give someone who is struggling right now, going through some pain? You know, they're not seeing that next step. They can't see beyond what's going on in their life. You know, was there something in particular that because you even say you question God?
Yes,
you know,
I did.
like while you're doing this, how did you make it through that?
Well, this was the foundation of religion or the basis of spirituality was instilled in us from a child. My mom didn't let us go outside like all the other children on Saturday morning. We had to sit down. We had to read the Quran in the morning, at least an hour before we were able to go outside. So that gave me the foundation that I actually needed to get through the time. Within that 2.5 years, I lost all of the major family members in my family, what you call the core foundation. My mom, my dad, my grandmother, both grandfathers, uncles, aunts. Within 2.5 years, I lost them all. So I only had a few uncles and aunts to look up to. And what I did was use the things that my mom taught me to keep that strong, you know, that faith in God. Okay? Because I knew she would never lead me to a path that wasn't in my best interest. So that's what I did. And I did the same thing she did. I surrounded myself around people who were successful. It didn't, in the beginning, it didn't have to be exactly my field. It just was success. Because they think differently, they act differently, they spend money differently. The hustle is different. The way they educate themselves, they read 1 to 2 books a month. And these are the things that my mom did, you know. And to tell you a story about that, Chris, my mom, when she passed, we had a very expensive, and I'm like, why is she spending so much money on these? Back then we had encyclopedias. We didn't have the internet.
Right.
Well, we did have the internet, but I didn't know how to use it. But we had the encyclopedia set, right? She spent like almost $3,000 on 3 encyclopedia sets. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm saying, I want these sneakers. I want these. Why she's buying these books? I don't want to read these books. But it led me down a path of reading every day that now I understand. My children now have, when we moved in the house that we own now, okay, 15 years ago, we bought a house close to, not far from where we used to live at. And we came in that house with 1 bookshelf. And that was the books I got acquired from my mom. Today we have 6 bookshelves.
Wow.
6.
Beautiful.
Almost 1,000, close to over 1,000 books that we have because my wife and my children read so much. And in that process, when you read about what you want, you have to believe in what you want before you see it. And you seek it until you see it. Because I'm telling you, the power of creation starts in your mind.
I like that a lot.
The power of creation starts in your mind. If you can't see yourself wealthy, and I'm not talking about just for the money. I'm talking about the service that you can provide of being a Grades4life business owner, to give back to the children, to teach people your profession for free. I did that. I taught several people for years. I didn't charge them anything. Okay? And throughout that whole process, I saw God in every single thing He allowed me to give back that was given to me. Everything. And this, I thank Chris, I thank my brother, I thank you guys, because this gave me another avenue to give back in what I'm doing. I several schools and students, different athletes that I sponsor with this water. There's one brother in PA, Yorktown, PA. His name is Antonio Dorm. I think his name is Dorm. Don't kill me, Antonio. But he has a son they call Mr. Man. He is an awesome up-and-coming boxer. Okay, and he's one of the athletes that I sponsor this water, of course, the show here, and several other businesses. But I would honestly say to people who aspire to do great things, start a business, be an entrepreneur, surround yourself around like-minded people. Networking is our greatest aspect. We do a lot of networking for free that we do not understand what it is.
Right.
But when it comes to business, I don't know why our community does not use that same networking power in business. We'll network when it's time to party. We'll network when it's time to do a cookout. We'll network when it's time to go to a dinner or a restaurant.
Or some sort of activity. Right.
We'll network when it's not the best legal thing, we'll get together. Oh, let's go do this and get into trouble, right? We'll network on Friday for the Muslims. We'll network on Saturday for the Jehovah's Witnesses. We'll network on Sunday for the Christians. We'll do all this networking, right? But when it comes to business, we lose it. We do not use the power of us as a collective in our businesses like we do in every other aspect of our lives. And once our community learn this, we will now take a portion of that $1.1 trillion that we spend every single year in this country. $1.1 trillion is what we spend, not what we save, what we spend. And if we started a practice to now seek out each other in the businesses that we want and network into the business aspect. Grades for Life. Here it is. This man had a vision. Think about this. We are sitting right here with Grades for Life. This started off as a thought in this man's mind. Mm-hmm. There are thousands of children who are now motivated because they know if I get this grade, I can get discounts on this. Business owners around New Jersey and up and down the East Coast are motivated. Now, if I stick with Chris and his Grades for Life, I'll expose thousands of people who are looking for what I'm selling, and I'm able to give back a portion to these children and actually earn a financial benefit for helping the community. That's networking at its best. And if we all took that example in everything that we do outside, including business, I'm talking about including business, we'll be a lot more successful.
I think we got to take that clip.
I really couldn't say it better than myself.
You got to make that part of your marketing.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the entire concept, the entire vision, I mean, like, I really couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, in terms of what Grades for Life is, and in terms of what you're talking about, in terms of inspiring, I mean, like, and motivating and being a part of a community. I mean, there's something. It's something to give back, and it's something to expect a reward. It's not about the reward,
right?
But it's about what you're giving them back. Like, how do you become a better citizen? How do you help the next person become a better citizen? Right. Now, if you have something for somebody of need, and you can provide that, then it becomes powerful to give, because you're going to get it back. Now, that same concept goes in schools and grades. I mean, like, there's a reason to push. I mean, there's a reason. It takes a village to raise a student. It takes a village to raise a child. You know, now, if everybody in the community has something of value, a business owner who wants the business, obviously, from the community, they want that business. But if they're able to push and use that business to inspire a student, it becomes even more powerful.
It does. It does. I mean, we can, as adults, we have our own opinion about our last president, our greatest president, Obama. We have different opinions based on our consciousness of what situations we are in politically, socially. So I'm going to stick to the positive. Obama represented to the world that we can do anything that we want to do, including the President of the United States. So that gave our people and people around the world the vision that, listen, if he can do that, what can I do?
Right.
You know, and I have a saying that I use all the time. I forget where I got it from, but it wasn't from me, but I'm going to give it to you. If one man can, another man can. So if one person can be successful at one thing, trust another one can. I can remember we sat back as children. Nobody would ever come close to Michael Jordan. Remember that? Nobody would ever come close. Mike is going to be the best forever.
I still believe that, though.
It's not. No, but here's the thing. But I'm not mad at you for that. But the inspiration sitting in front of a TV saying that I'm going to be him was LeBron James.
Yes.
I said be like LeBron.
I get you on that. Absolutely. But this is the difference that watching somebody else that you are inspired by can create in you, because he didn't want to be the next Michael Jordan. He wanted to be LeBron James, and that's who he is. Mm-hmm. We can go on to Stephen Curry and all these other great athletes and look at the fact that now somebody is watching them from a classroom, from a study hall and saying, I want to do that. There are people watching all of us and everything that we do at every level of our success. It's not just them. Because the people who hold down our communities are the everyday heroes that our children see in our communities. That's why it's important to be the best that we can be as individuals.
You know, I love that because I say to that, greatness inspires greatness.
That's right.
You could get into the debate of, is Mike better? Is LeBron better? They're both great.
That's right.
And greatness inspired greatness. At the end of the day, Mike was great first, and that inspired LeBron. Mm-hmm. Whether LeBron will ever elevate to where Mike is, they're both great.
He's already there.
So greatness inspires greatness.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Steel sharp as steel, man.
And you know what?
Man.
You've been kicking some really good lessons here especially for a younger population or youth that we're trying to inspire and motivate. So I just want to recap real quick because I don't want to lose sight of the key lessons here. Something that you said earlier was about, doing what you need to do to fund the mission, which your mother did, right?
Right.
Maybe she didn't want to be a teacher, but she knew she needed to do that to make it happen. So sometimes that's what we have to do. And also being a visionary, being able to visualize what it is that you want and focus on that on a consistent basis. And then laying out a plan. You lay out a plan.
Lay that plan out.
And then you work the plan. And then the library. I love the library because so many of our kids are not reading enough because they're distracted with their social media and their phones, and they're not getting the knowledge they need to really understand what it's going to take to reach that success. And then finally, surround yourself with people who are already successful.
That's right.
Because those are the people that are really going to inspire you to get to that next level and teach you what you need to do by just following their footsteps. So I like to just recap some of that because I don't want to lose sight of how profound it is what you're,
It was a lot of gems being dropped, and we definitely got to capture all of them.
Right, and that's very important. And the other side of that is, as far as the example that we set, as far as my children are concerned, now what we did, and this is what you have to do, and you have to start early, okay? My children didn't feel deprived because they didn't have this or they didn't have that, in the sense that I made it normal for them not to have TV all the time. We didn't have a radio in our house for the whole duration of my children growing up. So some people say you can't censor it, but yes, you can. When you teach your children to read this book and they get the reward for getting exciting, from getting in the storyline, right? And then you make that a contest. You give them a reward, something like Grades4life. Whoever reads the most books this summer, you get $100. My daughter, at that time, I think she was 7, she read 100 books from the time she got out of school in June to the time she started school in September that year, and she won $100. So from that point, my children are now excited about reading. As they play the games, don't get it twisted, they get in the Xbox and all that, but in every single room in my home, except for my bedroom, there is a bookshelf in every room. So I told my wife, what we're going to have to do? We're going to now take one of these 6 bedrooms and turn it into a library, because it's books everywhere, bro. My wife's office is flooded with books. And in the beginning, I used to, and this was going maybe not even 6 months ago, I was like, why you keep buying all of these books? She said, because I'm reading them. I said, well, let me see what you're reading. This is a thing that we have to now become. We have to really listen to our wives, bro, our mates, your husband. Listen to them, because if they're reading something, there's a reason why. So I sat down and looked at the packages that she had been getting over a month's time. She bought about 90 books. 70, 75 books in over maybe 2 months' time. So I start reading, and I'm looking. This one was, what was the name of this book? The Heart of a Lion.
Okay.
Now here's the funny part about that. I met someone in Miami that was reading the same book. Didn't know my wife had it. Now listen, I met a brother who was waiting for a plane. I missed my flight. He missed his flight, and I'm watching him read. So I asked him, what are you reading? He said, I'm reading The Heart of a Lion. He looked to turn the book. We took pictures. We talked. But the funny part about it is when I got home, a lot of the books that we talked about was already in my house. my wife had already purchased most of the books, self-help, Robert Kiyosaki's books. His I think he had like 3 or 4 or 5 books, and I just was blown away. The Richest Man in Babylon, all of these books, and now the latter part of my life, the last 8 years of my life, has taken me really through a transformation that led me back to where my mother was when she passed. And this is the thing that I tell you about life is amazing. How much time do we have? Because I don't want to lose this point. We're good. Yeah. Okay. The second part of my life, after the electronics, about going back about 2.5 years, I was sick, right? Sick to the point where I was praying, I was going to the doctor, and these are some of the things that we're suffering from right now in our community because of ignorance, okay? I did not know that there was such of a thing, your body of being overly acidic. Didn't know that. I was aware of eating good foods and bad foods, but sometimes there's a difference. Let me not say sometimes. There's a direct difference between knowing something and understanding it. Because we know McDonald's is bad for us, right? We know fast foods are bad for us. We know processed foods are bad for us, sugary. But if we understood it, we wouldn't eat it. Right. Long story short, this water, this is to give you the story behind this water. I was about 40 pounds heavier. I went to the doctors, several doctors, 3 doctors right behind each other. I was suffering from back pain, constipation, overly acidic, overly active allergies, my, my asthma, back pains, overly acidic situations, and I was overweight and extremely lethargic. I had no energy. I would sleep 8 hours, wake up exhausted, not realizing what I was putting my body through. So I went to a holistic brother right here in Newark on South Orange Avenue, and I told him what was going on. And when he told me about this water, I didn't think nothing about it. I didn't believe him because I wasn't exposed to that part of health and wellness. After going to the doctors and getting 6 different prescriptions from each doctor, okay, none of them told me anything about nutrition. None of them told me anything about eating right. None of them told me anything about proper hydration. None of that. Went back to the brother, and he told me, listen, your body is overly acidic, and it's fighting to, you're dehydrating overly acidic, and it's fighting to get the correct nutrients. So it's stealing nutrients from your body, and that's why you're always weak. You can sleep and wake up exhausted. So after drinking the water, what he told me was, he gave me a prescription on how to drink water. We are supposed to drink, because they lied to us. They told us you're supposed to drink 8-ounce glasses a day. Isn't that what they told us?
That's right.
Okay, here's the falsehood in that. If I'm 250 pounds, you're 120, and another lady is like 130, how can 8-ounce glasses hydrate all of us the same? Right. It's impossible. The correct formula for drinking water is you're supposed to drink half your weight in ounces a day. So if you're 200 pounds, you're supposed to drink 100 ounces of water. If you're 150 pounds, you're supposed to drink 75 ounces of water. Here's the science. After starting drinking this water for the first, I want to say 6 weeks, I lost 12 pounds. And all I did was drink this water the way he told me to drink it, right? Then I started listening to my wife that God sent me. Okay, she's really a godsend. She said, listen, we're gonna stop drinking milk. We stopped drinking milk. I gave up coffee for 1 year. Okay, in that interim, 6 months later, 3 months after the first, I lost another 15 pounds. So I lost 30 pounds in 6 months. And the first things I did was correctly start drinking this water, and I removed milk, I removed coffee. Then we started with the red meat. That was out the door. And then meat in general. Now we only eat we only eat fish, all right, and vegetables. But that made me understand the importance of hydration. That's the key thing here. The hydration, water is the foundation of our health and our immune system. When we're not drinking the right amount of water, our bodies will not function properly. It won't. And it causes overly acidic conditions, cause inflammation. Inflammation causes what? The disease. that we go through. So I was in a perpetual state of dehydration, and that's what a lot of us, 75%, you can Google everything I'm telling you, 75% of us are chronically dehydrated and don't even know it.
Wow.
And that's why we get sick.
That's powerful. That's really powerful. And it's powerful that you were able to really see the value in drinking water and really just hit home in terms of, like, you know, you have these conditions, you don't know what they're from.
Excuse me. Yes.
And then when you went to go see the doctor, he's like, you know, something as small as changing your water habits. I mean, like, you know, we all think we know how to drink water,
right?
I
thought I did.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, it's just water, you know.
Right.
I mean, you go get a glass. I mean, sounds like it makes sense, but I mean, like, now there's something special about that type of water.
Yes,
like,
it is.
Am I right?
Yes, it is. This is the only brand bottled water in America that has antioxidants and electrolytes. The combination in this water is very unique. It is not only it's 9.5 pH. There's a lot of 9.5 pH waters, but they don't. What you don't know is the waters are not correctly mineralized. It's not a natural source of water.
So so when you say they're not mineralized, like, what's the benefit for the pH balance, and what's the difference?
Okay. The higher the pH, right, the more alkaline it is. Our bodies by naturally are acidic. Okay, it's alkaline. Your blood is 7.34. Your alkaline, right, which is slightly alkaline. But everything that we eat, when the body metabolizes food, the leftover byproduct is acid. Everything, I don't care what it is leftover acid. That acid produces antibodies, or negative antibodies called I can't even think right now. That oh man, I just say this every day. I just got sidetracked, but I'm gonna get back to it. But what it does is these antioxidants, that's the same as in our food, neutralizes the free radicals in our bodies that cause havoc on our systems and our immune systems. So by reducing the acidity in our bodies and loaning the minerals that's from the water in substitute that we don't eat from our diet, because most of us don't eat fruit and vegetables every single day for every single meal. We don't. And it's not because a lot of us can't, because we don't want to. It's because our schedules, some of us single parents, we have parents, both parents are working, so we don't cook and eat the right foods all the time. But knowing what's right for you is knowing the basics of hydration is what's going to lead you to the diet change. If you can start with water, this is a benign thing, right? Just water.
Right.
If you can start with the water and drinking water properly, go to the next thing. Go ahead.
No, and I think that people, the biggest mistake they make is that when they get thirsty, they go for the soft drink.
Exactly.
Or even when they're hungry,
right?
They eat when their body's telling them that they're
thirsty.
Right. So they drink less and less water, and they eat and drink more things to dehydrate them even further. But I'm on your website here, which is a great website. It's www.alkalinewaterking.com, and you have some interesting things noted here. Besides the antioxidants that you mentioned, you said kosher certified, BPA-free plastic.
Yes.
No sodium.
No.
So you had to put that in there. Does water have sodium?
A lot of sodium. See, here's the thing. Most alkaline water brands use sodium to bring the pH up. I don't want to say any names, but I'm going to tell you this. All right. Some of the most prominent brands, read the first ingredients. Okay. One of the most prominent brand, the first ingredient is sodium bicarbonate, which is household baking soda. That's not an electrolyte, nor is that an antioxidant. It's just household baking soda. But the price they charge you to alkalize the water is, you can do that at home. You understand what I'm saying? There's another couple of brands out there that use binary salts, and it's just basically salt water.
Right.
Salt water is good for what it is, but not for you to drink every day.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But the minerals in the water, being as pure as it is, your body accepts that during the digestion process quickly because it's in the water. Water enters your body a lot faster than your food does.
Right.
So to get back to what you were saying about the substitutes, sodas, juice, milk, orange juice are not water.
Right.
How detrimental is that to our body, and how does drinking this type of water help us live like a healthy life?
Well, it's a combination, of course, of your water consumption and your diet. Okay, but the water is most important because when you sleep, the average person loses 2 liters of water every single night, depending on your heart rate, your weight, and how much you breathe, how much you move around. But here's the thing: when you wake up, you're dehydrated.
Mm-hmm. Right.
When you wake up, we are dehydrated, and we've been brainwashed to believe that America runs on. Right, so the first thing you do is grab a cup of coffee or tea, which further dehydrates you, because coffee and tea contains caffeine. Right. Caffeine is diuretic, which means it's going to remove the amount of water from your body that you drink. So if you drink a 12-ounce cup of coffee, know that you're going to lose 24 ounces of water. It's a science.
More water. Wow.
Right.
Okay.
You can't get past it's science. So if I drink the first thing out of bed, I'm going to go get my coffee. Now I'm further putting my body in further a state of dehydration, because I still haven't put the 2 liters that I lost, not including if you go to the bathroom. I'm talking about just through natural metabolism, your body using the food to properly digest your food from the previous night. You're supposed to drink at least 24 ounces of water. Your first, depending on your, how much you consume, between 16 ounces and 24 ounces.
So the
first thing out the bed.
Right, I knew you were going to say that.
The first thing out the bed
is water.
Is water.
Is water, not juice.
Not water, not juice, not tea, not coffee, not milk, not anything else. Is water. Right. And the reason why, like I said, I promote this brand because this is the brand that God sent to me to help save me.
Right.
Now, I didn't go out to the shelf and buy this and say this is it, because it wasn't on the shelves. And in a lot of stores it's still not, but we're working on that now. The difference is when you drink chilled water, some people say you don't drink chilled water because they don't understand. The first thing in the morning you want to drink chilled water because it does what? It's going to make you cold. It's going to make your temperature drop that 98.6. So when you drink the chilled water, your metabolism kicks in to try to regulate your temperature, right? Mm-hmm. So now you're burning calories and you're just getting out the bed.
Nice.
And you're putting back the most essential thing God gave us is water. See,
so basic.
So basic. See, it's amazing when you really think deep. I mean, sometimes I really think a lot deeper than the average person about certain things. The benign thing of water, right? Look at the mercy that God gave us. Knowing that we need water so much, He made it clear so we wouldn't get tired of the color. He made it odorless so we wouldn't get tired of the smell. He made it tasteless so we wouldn't get tired of drinking it, because we know we need it every day. Is that not a merciful God?
Oh my God, I've never had water described that way. That
exactly. I've never had it broken down in that way.
That's amazing.
And it's powerful. I mean, like when you think about, when I think of water and the benefits, what I think about is, the people who are without healthy water. Right.
Flint, Michigan.
I was just about to go there.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like Flint, Michigan, when you think about that.
Well, I'm working with a group on Facebook, a sister named Lisa. She reached out to me and a few other people that we're trying to get. It's not only about the water. Our company is the only company in America that has a large array of products that are directly dedicated to fight dehydration and puring water. So it's not just the water. We have the mineral drops, and more prominently is the ionizers, the water ionizer. You familiar with them? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. So there's a company called Cajun or Enagic. Those ionizers do the job, but they are very expensive. And the technology is old in the sense that was made in Japan for certain reasons, okay? But our ionizers are made here in the U.S., and we're trying to get as many of the ionizers to certain groups of people in Flint. I told the sister that I would give them to her at cost, because I want to be able to give back to some people that's doing a little bit worse than we are. Okay, so I said I'm not going to make any money on these ionizers. You buy them, we're going to send them to whatever organization in Flint, and as long as I can see proof that these people are benefiting, our people are benefiting from what you're doing, I will continue to supply you with the products at cost.
I think that's amazing. And the other thing that I'm saying is Flint, Michigan is a terrible case. It's a terrible case, and it's nationally publicized right now.
Right.
But there are other places that are just as bad with drinking water.
Yes, it is.
I mean, I think even in our backyard in New Jersey,
of course,
they found certain places where there's a high population. I mean, there's a high population of lead.
Right.
There's a lot of lead just right within the water system.
Newark is going through that right now. There's a thing that's going on in Newark about the water supply, about certain schools and that was shut down that had high levels of lead,
high concentration.
So
right?
I advise everybody and anybody, it has nothing to do with me selling water, get a filter. Get some type of filter. I don't care where you live at, because this is also common knowledge that 25 million, and this was on one of Dr. Oz's show, 25 to 30 million Americans every single year get sick from drinking tap water. Tap water.
Can you say
around
that
the country, 25 million, over 25 million
water,
people get sick from drinking tap water, unfiltered tap water around the country. Just not just Flint now. I'm talking about all over the U.S. On my page, there's a video. On my website, there's a video that actually they did a test of water around the country,
right.
And they saw that there was arsenic in the water. What do you call it? Pesticides,
right.
Herbicides, high levels of lead, chlorine. There's things in the water, and this is a part of most people don't know.
Right.
Do you know that we have lye in our water?
You know what? Like, I actually got to see you do one of your water tests.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so amazing, just because it's certain things that you would never even think. Where you have the acidic test,
right? Mm-hmm.
And then you'll go around, you'll test the water to see what the drinking water is.
The level, yes. These are the pH levels in water.
And the thing about water, because it's so clear, and there's so many different things floating around there, they're broken down,
right.
broken down.
Like
you would never even really know what's dissolved in the water
until you test it.
Until you test it. Right, exactly. Until you test it. And for some of us, when we're drinking it, that's the test.
Right.
You don't want that to be the test.
Right.
Obviously.
Correct.
So, I mean, like, when you're thinking about, I mean, like, I've seen it even where some mainstream bottles of water
right.
aren't as healthy as we would like them to be.
No, they're not.
And now that you mentioned that, before I lose this thought, some of this water has fluoride. And you mentioned it doesn't have fluoride. Why is fluoride bad? Because
fluoride, I mean, let me say this. Fluoride is known to be used for your teeth. Right. For your enamels. It's supposed to be scientifically proven that it has benefits for the enamel on your teeth. But what they don't tell you is the side effects of fluoride. The reason why your dentist tell you to spit it out, don't swallow it, is because fluoride causes a number of things in the body. It's like to put it into simple terms, it's a poison. Fluoride is in a lot of the rat poisons that's being used. Fluoride is in other chemicals that are used for other sources, right? There's a different level of it. There's another binary, there may be a different binary substance that's coupled with it, but fluoride at the base is a poison.
Wow, that's something I never knew. Yeah, wow, we really got into this.
Yeah, man. I think we could talk about this all night. Right? So I want to get also real quick, if you could give us a little snapshot as to what is your mission now in life and in your business, because you got the electronics business that you mentioned, right?
Right.
Now you're a water distributor as well.
Right. Now this is the full circle that I was telling you about. I got I'm actually getting out of the electronic business.
Okay.
Because I've come back to where my mom was in 1986, 81 to 86. And I am now helping people build wealth, teaching financial literacy, teaching them the value of $1 and the truth of what debt and what real money is. So I would really minimize it to helping people build their health and then helping people build their wealth. Yes.
I love it. So now, one question I do have, and this is a question that we asked with the show, aptly named Grades for Life. If you had to grade yourself And if we have to give your grade a life or your grade for life, what would be your grade?
Absolutely an A plus.
Why?
Because there's one more thing, the dynamic I haven't explained to you yet. How much time we have? We good?
We have a little while.
Just give me a few minutes. The last part of my life, when my mom was teaching me about the value system. Here it is. I'm 49 years old. I think I've owned like 3 pair of Nikes in my entire life. I don't see the value in paying for things that have no value. Okay, and that was one of the things that my mom taught me. 2 years ago, I was introduced by a wealthy person the idea, reintroduced of the idea of owning assets. Okay. So I thought about it, and I started doing the same thing I did with the water. I went deep into research. 99% of us don't own assets. None. So let's go back to real estate. Some people say real estate can be an asset, and it can be. So let me start there first. So 15% of melanated people in the United States own real estate. The other 75% don't. Okay, so between real estate, life insurance, and owning assets, that's the way that we overcome the poverty thing from generation to generation.
That's true.
So here it is. This is the last episode in my life that my give back to my community is building wealth by saving 24 karat gold. This is the one thing that we have never learned in school. They don't teach it to you in college. If anyone has been to college, please tell me what you had a professor that taught you how to save gold to outpace inflation. Have you ever heard that? Was you taught that, Chris? No, I wasn't taught it either. My mom taught me this. And here it is. I learned about this company, and what it does basically is it helps you save 24 karat gold. This is 1 gram of 24 karat gold, pure gold. This is not like the jewelry we get from the stores. Isn't it amazing how every melanated person you know owns jewelry? How many black-owned jewelry stores have you seen in the last 10 years?
That's a powerful thought.
We all own it, right?
It's true.
Okay, so this goes back to the networking part of what my mom taught me. This company allows you to set up, it's an international company that allows you to save 24 karat pure gold. They'll send the gold directly to you. The account, the registration is free. No, there's no credit checks. There are no broker's fees. Anything that's prohibiting us, like it was previously, to own gold because it was too expensive. We couldn't afford $800 an ounce, right? But now you can purchase this in smaller increments down to 1/10 of a gram. I'm going to show you what 1/10 of a gram is. This is the way that we outpace inflation because you know our dollar used to be backed by what? Gold, right? And in 1971, our president Richard Nixon took us off the gold standard, which plunged our economy from that point to now into inflation. Every year they lose the buying power of 3%. These, I'm going to give them to you so you can see them. This is 1/10 of a gram of 24 karat gold. So you can afford, everybody in the world can now, the 99% of us who could not afford gold, that right there only costs $8. So if you can afford a movie ticket, you can afford to start saving 24 karat gold. And the thing that is so powerful that I've learned through study that the media does not tell us is that the whole world is now saving gold because they understand what's happening. We are what, 16, 17, 19 trillion dollars in debt? How can a country who prints its own money be in debt?
Because you print your own money.
Right. And it's not backed by anything.
So your money won't be worth much, but your gold will.
Absolutely. Gold has doubled in value 4 or 5 times since 1791. It was $19 in 1791, right? It went to $43 in I think it was 1878. Then it went to $100 in 1971. Then it went to $200 in 78. Now this is the progression, progression of the value of gold. 87, it went to $800 a ounce. Then in 2007, it went to 1,000. In 2017, it was 1,300. So gold has never went back down to $800 an ounce, and it won't. Nope. So this is the last, and this is what we can do, families who are working, and this is the same exact principle, the same exact pattern that my mom did. We use our jobs, right, to fuel our freedom from debt. That's exactly what my mom did, and that's exactly what you can do. If we take our jobs and use them to get into debt, we can use them to get out.
Wow, this has been a very educational session. We appreciate it. So the Alkaline Water King is also the Gold King, and we can find you right at Alkaline King.
Alkaline Water King.
Alkaline Water King. Very good.
My direct number, if you want to contact me, is 862-452-9628, and I'm on Facebook and Instagram at Alkaline Water King.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I just want to say that I'm very excited that at Bro Solutions we've launched a new line of business, which is a way for you to save money on your current bills and also become an entrepreneur with very little investment. So you can find that information at abreu.mystream.com, and I'll meet with you personally to show you how you can do that.
And as always, thank you for tuning in to Grades for Life. Grades for Life, we are coming to your community soon. We're working with students, schools, businesses. We'd love to work with you too. So follow us at www.gradesforlife.com and tune in next time. Thanks again.
Peace. That was an experience, bro.
And even though you never pay me no attention.